Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today, a guide to interactive video. We're really happy to see everybody here and join us along our journey as we're going to talk a little bit about interactive video, what it is, where we might use it, and all the different benefits that go into interactive video. A little bit about me. My name is Ryan Larson, and I am a manager of our customer success team here at PlayPosit. And I am super thrilled to be joining you all today to talk about one of my favorite things, which is interactive video and how to use it at your institution or business. A little bit of background about me. I've been with PlayPosit for 3 years, and with my time at PlayPosit, I've been talking with universities and businesses about how to get interactive video into their various organizations. Before that, I was actually a classroom educator, and I taught in school districts around the country. And so even when I was in the classroom, I would find different ways of implementing interactive video into my courses. And I can't wait to talk today about the benefits of interactive video and talk about some of WeVideo's latest resources, including our guide to interactive video. If you are in this webinar today, you more than likely have already previewed this guide to interactive video. Personally, I love it. It's a really great step-by-step of why should I be utilizing interactive video? What are the different types of interactive video? What are some of the best practices around implementing interactive video? And then how to use PlayPosit to create that interactive video and deploy it to my learners. And so definitely check this out. My presentation today is going to be covering the step-by-steps around this. And this is a really great guide that you all can take with you to put interactive video into your own organizations. With that, let's talk a little bit about our journey that we have today. So really similar to the guide, I'm going to talk a little bit about what exactly is interactive video. So if you're unfamiliar, great. If you have been utilizing interactive video in some way, shape, or form, I can't wait to show you the ways that PlayPosit can put interactive video in your hands. I'm going to talk about what are the different types of interactive video. We're going to talk about how interactive video is not just for the learners, but it's for you, the instructors, the designers, the trainers of the world, to be able to measure and see impact, see the impact inside of your organization. I'm going to talk a little bit about best practices as well. And so we'll talk situations where you might integrate interactive video into your courses. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to make interactive video with PlayPosit and show you some of our latest features and getting started there. So with that, let's get into what exactly interactive video is. To frame this, did you know that the average person spends about 146 minutes watching online videos every day? I know that I personally watch a lot of videos, not only because I work at PlayPosit and WeVideo, but also in my personal life, that is how I take in so much information. And that's nearly 17 hours per week. With numbers like this, it's really hard not to wonder, is any of that video content actually being retained? And today I'm going to show you that there is a way to find out. And there's a way to turn that answer of, I don't know how much my learners are actually retaining, to a resounding yes. Yes, I know exactly what my learners know after watching this video. I know how they've engaged with the video. And even I'm going to know some of the next best steps forward to take with that video. So interactive video, these are the three kind of pillars that I like to think about. So interactive video provides increased learner engagement. It creates better content retention and even more measurable learner analytics. And we're going to dive into each of those aspects and what ways PlayPosit can do that as we go through our webinar today. So from interactive video, these are just some astounding statistics that we have. You know, from an engagement angle, I'm always thinking about like, what returns am I going to get? What returns are my learners going to get? What returns am I going to get as a instructional designer or a trainer? And so interactive video is just more engaging. 66% is what we draw as far as interactive video. And interactive video, not only it gets learners engaged in the process that's happening, interactive video is 32% more memorable. Interactive video gives you a way to highlight and memorialize key points for everybody watching your videos. We see that there's a 44% longer viewing time. And so with interactive video, you're able to have your learners come back and review the content more continuously than, say, a normal standard video. We also find that there is about a 14.4% increase in increase in the learner knowledge that they retain. And so you know that your learners are getting more about it. They're remembering more when you add in an interactive video. And then finally, one thing that always came to mind, even as an educator, was I always thought about, are my students completing the whole assignment, watching the whole video? And with interactive videos, we have a metric of accountability for if my learners have completed that whole video. And we see an 20% increase in both learner and video completion and average viewing time for learners. So what are the items that we can add to an interactive video? What makes a video interactive? So first, we think about the way learners are engaging with content and how that process is built out to create it and make it more engaging. So with interactive video, you can pause and reflect within the video. You can have learners answer an embedded question. You can have learners participate in a peer discussion or even respond to a live learning poll. With interactive video, you also have the ability to jump learners forward and backwards within the content. And so these steps outside of a normal video layer are things that make a video more interactive or interactive. Interactive video is also making videos resourceful. And so within interactive videos, you can also provide supplementary materials such as websites or PDF resources. You can build learning pathways in which learners can have a little bit more choice into the way they navigate through a video. You can prompt learners to rewatch clips based upon the different answer choices that you are providing it. And all of these layers are the ways that you can make a video interactive. When we're thinking about interactive video, I showed you some of the features that make an interactive video, and truly it is not comparable to a standard video. So working with trainers and instructors, these are some of the values that continue to resonate with our customers when it comes to interactive videos. So first and foremost, you can construct different pathways within videos. And so you can make the learning come alive as opposed to a standard video. And so you can have learners navigate throughout a video and really make that experience unique for your learners. You also give learners the power to engage. You'll have give learners the power to engage and control how they digest that content. And one thing that I know is that adults love to choose, right? They love to have that autonomy when they are learning. And so interactive video is a great way to allow that choice so learners can take the content that they want to take in the way that they want to take them in. Learners also need to pay attention and take action throughout the video. So when we live in a world of a bunch of different distractions, one of the ways that we can get learners to focus even more on the content at hand is by providing questions, making them think about the content that you present to them, engaging in poll discussions so you can learn a little bit about what they're thinking and why they're thinking what they're thinking about your videos. One thing with interactive video as well is it is a medium that you can easily replace the content. So versus a standard video, designing an interactive video is much easier to keep over time. And I'm going to show you a little bit about the ways that you can replace content and keep that underlying video active for a much longer time, because you can add in resources to develop more context over time. Finally, one of my favorite points is that you're going to know what your learners have taken away from that video. And so as a trainer, as an educator, as a designer, things that I'm always thinking about is, how do I know that this concept that I'm trying to teach you, whether it's a skill, whether it's a procedure, how do I know that it's sticking with you? And so when answering that, I lean on interactive video to show me the different ways in which I know that my learning outcomes have become measurable. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about the types of interactive video that are available. And we're going to talk about the types of interactive video that are available to us, and specifically how we might engage with those different interactive video types. So at its core, for almost all that take advantage of interactive video, is this idea of question sets. So they're the power of embedding questions on top of it, on top of a video, not only transforms that video into an active learning experience, but also creates a measurable place of knowledge retention. With interactive video, you can deploy this synchronously, so meaning in a live session, such as a lecture, a discussion, webinar, or workshop, or also asynchronously, as I like to term, on your own or self-paced. And so it really gives a different aspect in the ways that in which you can deploy that content. In addition, you can also mix up things like the question types that happen within your interactive video. And so with this range of question types that you see there, you see the multiple choice, check all, the free response, the discussion question, true, false questions. It's a really great way to mix up the experience for your learners. It can also help challenge your learners, which makes the learning outcomes even greater. You can imagine, if you're having to think about a problem a lot, you're going to remember the information that goes into that problem. Another big thing is, this is not just multiple choice inside of this video. We have all these different question types are there for you to make the choice as an instructor, as a trainer, to really differentiate how your learners are experiencing the video, and really thinking about how a learner's engaging with that interactive video. And so the first type of interactive video that we see, and probably the most frequently used, is this question sets, using question sets within that interactive video. Let's move on to a second type of interactive video that we see a lot, which is the peer learning. This is actually one of my favorite things since starting with PlayPosit and starting my journey on interactive video, is this concept of peer learning. So interactive video can easily create collaborative and community learning experiences. So within interactive videos, you can add things like a discussion interaction, or even a real-time audience poll for a live interactive video. And with that, you can build in peer-to-peer knowledge sharing, which is super essential for any kind of training or any workshop that you are running with your learners. And so with those real-time audience polls and the real-time discussion forums, what you can do is not only show the content, teach the content, but also create a community around that content, which I think is so awesome when you are exploring interactive video. And so peer learning is an essential use case within interactive video, and one that I've grown to love as you're going through building interactive videos. The next use case that we have is branched pathways. And so branched pathways offer a dynamic learning experience by using what we call jumps. And for all of our intents and purposes, jumps are automated redirects to different content within the video based upon a learner interaction. So for instance, correct answers can advance learners to new material. Incorrect answers can send learners back within the material, so that way they're learning in those different individualized paths. You can also offer optional jumps to provide learner autonomy, going back to that choice with your learners in choosing their own learning path. Part of this allows that flexibility, and it enhances engagement and accommodates the diverse learning styles in which all of your learners like to engage with. And so branch pathways, I love both the choice-based learning and as well the more consequence-driven learning. It really provides a way that you can keep and meet your learners exactly where they're at when they're building those skills. Another another style of interactive video that comes to mind is a linear video plus. And what do we mean by a linear video plus? Think about a video that you might already have that you utilize in your training, and think about adding just a little bit of context for your learners so that way they're able to engage. And so that context can be things like a PDF file or a website that might just add a little bit more insight into the things that you are saying inside that video. Some of the questions that I ask when I'm talking with folks about, hey, like, why should I use an interactive video versus a standard video? And maybe this is a route that they would like to go with. And one of the things that I like to think about is, are those resources that you have in the video currently, do they help your learner learn what you're doing? And so this linear video plus style is one way that you can utilize and build in resources to build in that context for your learner, to give them the resources that they need to understand what you are trying to teach and train them better. Interactive video content is not simply me as an educator or a trainer or a designer assigning this video to learners, but instead there's also pathways in which learners can create their own interactive content. And so learner-made videos transform learners into active creators and educators on their own. And these videos offer the same interactive features as the instructor-created videos, but they empower the learners to produce content and deepen that active learner engagement. Learner-made videos are also very versatile. And one of the things that you can do when you flip that learning experience and have learners create their own interactive content is you can bring that back and reutilize that content to teach learners again and again. And so this creation process around learner-created content is a really great way to increase learner ownership, increase critical thinking, increase engagement. You can imagine the way, and when you are asked to create something, all the ways that you understand something even better. That is what the heart of learner-made content is, and creating learner-made interactive videos. The final example of interactive videos is utilizing them in a playlist. Interactive videos are really powerful tools on their own. You can assign individual interactive videos to learners and their experience is going to be enhanced. But playlists elevate that experience even more for learners. Playlists are a really great option for interactive videos because you can curate collections that are perfect for things like remote courses, a self-paced review of content, and even thinking about models and modules for each of your learners. Playlists enable the creation of a comprehensive course in which you can have learners navigate and digest that content either in a flow that you choose for them or a flow that they choose for themselves. And so I love playlists as a curation of content. It's a really great way to bring together topics and understandings and learnings into one space and collect that for your learners. As well, another side of this is the fact that you also have analytics, and those analytics are all condensed into that one place, so you can see how learners perform on one full playlist of content instead of looking at several individual interactive videos. So those are some of the use cases for interactive video. Let's talk a little bit about measuring those learner outcomes that we look for when our learners engage with interactive video. And so the PlayPosit administrative dashboard provides instructors with an in-depth performance data to inform their instructional decisions. And so some of the key metrics that we look for when we're on that administrative dashboard is we can see detailed question level analytics, so we can understand how learner performance on specific questions go. We look at overall performance metrics, so you can track average scores and also completion rates. So again, like, you're going to know what your students have learned or what your learners have learned, what your employees have learned, and you're going to be able to see their average scores and the completion rates. And so you'll have that understanding of what they've known and what they've watched. You're going to have learner engagement insights, so you can analyze the attempt history, so you can see when learners engage with content, when they go back to look at different examples, and you're going to be able to see those engagement analytics and know that all of those benefits that we started our session today, all those statistics are coming into play and increasing the engagement of your learners. As well, you can see things like real-time audience feedback. So again, we have a live, there's a lot with live interactive videos. You're able to go in and you're able to see analytics. And when you are using Play, you're able to see what folks know and realize in the moment of their interactive video. As well, you can also see qualitative learner feedback. So you're going to be able to see things like learner notes and annotations to know a deeper understanding within the platform. So with this data, as instructors and as administrators, as trainers, we're going to be able to see that comprehensive data, and we're going to be able to make this data-based decisions with that collection of analytics, and ultimately teach and reteach our learners the essential things that they might have missed in their first pass of the video, but as well adapt our content as we are going through and using it. So with that, I've kind of described a cycle, and I really love this cycle right here of, with interactive video, you can create that content and teach with that, and your learners are going to get the engagement benefits when you teach with that interactive video. After you've taught or instructed or trained with that interactive video, you're then going to be able to review those analytics both with the learners and adjust based upon your learner performance, but as well, this last step right here, you're going to be able to improve the quality of your training and teaching and go right back in to teaching with that new updated training, with that new updated training cycle as you are going through. And so I love this metric because interactive video provides you a place where you can go through this virtuous cycle and really think about the continuum of your learning or your teaching, learning, and training. And so those are some of the data metrics that are the ways to think about data and interactive video, thinking about engagement, thinking about learner outcomes, thinking about how completion, all of those essential markers. Let's talk a little bit about some of our interactive video best practices and some of the ways that interactive video can benefit you and your institution today. So to start, how do you make, let's talk about our first best practice, which is make it work for your situation and goals. And so do you have no existing video content? Well, with PlayPosit, you can start with any YouTube or Vimeo video and enhance it with interactive elements and create a measurable program all within the platform. And so it's a really great way to start. If you have no content, you can grab content from the web and make it yours and make it interactive and ask the things that you need to. Some of you might already have existing video training, and some of it might be in a standard video flow. So it's just a video, just a normal video, but consider making it interactive and thinking about the ways that you can boost your current video's effectiveness by adding interactivity and analyzing the learner data for improvement. And so many of us think about just how can we transform that content to make it more engaging, make it more impactful, which is what we ultimately want with our videos. If you're ready for a complete overhaul, you can think about redesigning your program from scratch and having interactive video as a foundation. So one thing that I go back to is, how much video we consume per person on a weekly basis. And so think about that medium. Think about how engaging that is for the people that you're trying to teach and train. And think about how you can make that interactive video even more comprehensive for your courses. And think about the way that you can leverage that and the data that you're going to be able to inform yourself. Lastly, if you're needing to teach a remote audience, think about the things that you do in person with your training, and then think about how you could scale that out even more for remote learners using interactive video. And at the same time, you'd be able to ensure engagement and then the measurable outcomes for your learners. And so interactive video, our first best practice is make it work for your situation and goals. Our second best practice is make it easy for your learners. So like all instructional content, interactive video should be intuitive and accessible for your learners. To maximize engagement and curiosity, we recommend following these best steps that you see here on the screen. So think about helpfully organized table of contents for jump points. So imagine the impact that a table of contents would be to help your learners navigate back in the video to review those important steps. Available remotely and on demand. So imagine having a place where your learners can continually go play pause it offers playlists, which allow your learners to go back to collections of their interactive videos, but as well, like you can use play pause it itself in the courses and the ways to assign to make a on-demand video home for your trainings. Interactive video is also pedagogically sound, but it's also engaging and entertaining. So again, back to videos are a part of a lot of our lives, and thinking about videos in different ways and how we engage with it can be a really great way to connect with the people you are trying to teach and train. Making interactive video sequence logically into larger units and courses is another best practice. Oftentimes when I'm designing video, I think about the end in mind, and then I think about the pathway forward. And so I have many different choices I can make, but utilizing again things like playlist and listing them inside of classes is one way I think about how to make interactive video easy for my learners. Remember that interactive video is designed not only to assess the knowledge that your learners are having, but it's also to support its development. So again, back to that continuous cycle, like interactive videos will help you stay informed. It will help you be able to address any misconceptions that your learners have and create that cycle of learning. And also, we talked about the many learning styles. And so there's lots of different ways that you can allow for learner choice. And so making it easy for learners can also be adding things like branch pathways where learners can choose, adding things like resources where learners can figure out more information and maybe read about information on top of the video layer that you're providing. And so making it easy for learners is also thinking about the experience that they might want to have when learning material. Our third best practice is make it easy for instructors. And so instructional designers and trainers, you all face increasing time constraints. And so to effectively adopt and utilize interactive video, platforms like ours should prioritize things like ease of use, which are streamlined creation and editing processes, customization, which means having the fine-tuned control over interactive elements, placement, and scoring. And I can't wait to show you some of these things. Data-driven insights, so actionable analytics on learner performance and behavior, again, so you can engage with that continuous cycle. Flexibility, so the ability to adjust content based on data and learner needs. And then finally, integration, so having a seamless compatibility with existing instructional technologies. PlayPosit integrates with a whole host of learning management systems. You can see them there on the screen. And those are true integrations that make deploying to your learners super easy, as well as accessing our studio in which you can design interactive videos, also very easy. Our fourth best practice is to make it easy for administrators. And so interactive videos should also be accessible and manageable for your institutions of all sizes. And PlayPosit offers a comprehensive solution for administrators. Within PlayPosit, we have a centralized management, which allows you to see private media libraries, see the organized classes, and the standalone courses that provide an efficient content organization. We also have data-driven insights, so we can see real-time performance both in our synchronous and asynchronous courses, and we can see both learners and instructors and help our teams inform their decision-making as they're going through. We also have scalability in mind, where multiple user roles and different permissions can allow your teams to collaborate with each other to create these interactive videos. And so with those interactive videos, we're able to go in and ensure a successful implementation in our course and review those cycles. And so with these features and integrating into things like our learning management systems, PlayPosit allows institutions to effectively deploy interactive video across your organizations. So now we get into the fun portion. And so with this, I'm going to be showing you now how to make an interactive video with PlayPosit and show you some of the step-by-step details that come into play. So to start, it's as simple as selecting a video. And so we're going to jump in to our design studio. And I'm going to go in here to our designer, and I'm going to grab a video to create an interactive video. And so to start, I'm going to be, you notice some of our video integrations that we have here. Today, I'm going to be utilizing a YouTube video. And so I'm going to be creating content that's already been created. But again, we have these integrations built into PlayPosit, which make it really easy to pull in your content that you might already have. And I'm going to start here with our YouTube video. The nice thing about our YouTube integration is I could search for a video, but I can also just put in a link to that video. And so that's what I'm going to do today. Is here is my link for that video. I'm going to grab it. I can preview it if I want to. I have options to actually pull in captions. And so right now, I'm going to click into that caption. I'm going to download our English captions. Within the player or within the designer or editor, I can also adjust and crop out some of the video layers and how it plays within our own player. And so it makes it really easy to edit and remove content over time. I'm just going to show you that option today. But once I have that video source selected and I've reviewed the captions, I can just click done. And I'm ready to get into our next step within the designer. So our next step is to add interaction. And so this really is dependent on your instructional goals. So we talked about the different formatting or the different use cases behind interactive video. There is the quizzing functionality. There is the branch learning functionality. There's the community of learner functionality that we have right here. And we have a lot of different choices for interactions. You'll notice right here, we have 9 different choices for interactions. We also have a bunch of different ways in which you can use advanced settings to enhance those interactions as you're going through. But I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can get into those designs today. And so I'm going to go back to my designer here, and I'm just going to start by adding just a short piece of context for this interactive video. And so I'm going to select right here, create a new interaction. I'm going to go to what we call a pause interaction, which is a text-based interaction, which allows me to give things like directions or introductions. I'm going to pull that in to our text box right here. You'll notice we have this rich text editor, so I can customize even more than just this plain text that you see right here. So I can add things like links, headings, images, all of that to enhance the directions and memorializations that I want to put inside of this video. Once I am done with adding that interaction, I'm going to just click done right there. And just like that, we've already enhanced and made our video just a little bit more interactive than that standard video. And so this would give learners a framing for what this video is about. I want to show you some different ways in which you can add some more of those question types in there. And so I'm going to take this. This is a scrub bar. And this scrub bar I'm going to take to about 1 minute and 15 seconds, which is a place in the video that I want to talk about. And I'm going to click this create a new interaction button. And it's going to pull up my menu of questions right here. This time I'm going to use a discussion question. And so a discussion question, you might remember, I really love because it allows for collaboration between my learners who are watching the video. So it's going to allow them to actually have a complete chat forum. So I'm going to click discussion right there. And I'm going to add it to this text right here. So I'm just going to ask a little bit about the speaker's initial judgment and what they thought right there. And then my learners are going to discuss that, be able to reply, hey, I thought that too. And also maybe, oh, I didn't agree with that thought. And so it's a really great way to add in context or add that experience of collaboration for your learners. So here's my discussion interaction. I'm going to click done right there. As well, we have a really awesome feature that has been added into Play Pause It. And I'm going to take my scrub bar right around 5 minutes. And I'm going to go up here, and you might see this button which says generate interactions. And so our interactive video player allows you to actually generate AI interactions. One of the really cool things about this, we talked a little bit about deeper learning and engagement, but this actually allows you not only to select where in the video you would like this question, but as well, you can adjust the complexity of that. And so if I want my learners to really analyze a video, I'm going to select that. And so that, you know, back to that concept again, if my learners are thinking hard about it, they're going to remember it even more. And so I click that analyze button. We can also adjust the question type. So maybe I want something like a free response question. When I'm ready to generate that interaction, I'm just going to click on the generate interaction button. And it's going to appear right here within my interaction timeline. Wow, this is a really great question. What patterns did the study find between procrastination levels and creativity ratings according to the data collected from surveys and experiences? So that's going to be, my learners are going to have to go in that video. They're going to have to maybe rewatch a little bit of that video to see and understand that concept. And so those AI interactions can get way beyond simply the who, what, where, when, and whys of the video, but also just make them think about how does this connect with the concepts that we are learning. And so that's an AI generated interaction, making it really easy to create this content. I don't have to keep this. If I wanted to, I can adjust. I could add more rich text to it. I could also add or change the question based upon what it is. So it's a really great resource to start. your interactions with. And so I like this question, so I'm going to keep it right there and click done. But I wanted to show you that really cool feature, which is AI generated interactions. And it is available right now with YouTube videos, and it utilizes the transcripts of those YouTube videos. I'm going to take my scrub bar a little bit further to around 8 minutes and 20 seconds. I've showed you some more open-ended questions. As a designer, those are really great because they make my learners think and they have to come up with their own original answers. But as well, sometimes we want to keep things really neat as far as the data that I'll get in, or also thinking about that learner time that they're spending. Right? We maybe don't want learners to write out longer answers, but we want something more defined. And so we have our selected answer choices in here as well. And so I'm going to go here to create a new interaction. And I'm going to use a multiple choice question. With this multiple choice question, I'm just going to type in my question here, and you'll notice these answer blanks. And so I'm going to just copy in some of my answers to this question. What is the first mover advantage? And I'm pulling in these different answers right here. To select the correct answers, there's two ways that I can do it. I can just select the answer right there, or you'll see this little settings cog where I can also mark it as correct. I talked a little bit earlier about the ways in which interactive video, you can branch that learning. So if I wanted to jump a learner, say ahead, I could actually add a jump and navigate them to the place I'd like them to go ahead in the video. Again, I can do it for any of these answer choices, so I could jump them behind if I wanted to. So that is a really cool feature. I can also just leave feedback for my learners based upon the answer choice that they have. So I might want to leave a little bit of feedback here for this incorrect answer. So that way, those who got the answer incorrect aren't just out of the loop of what they should be thinking, but instead right here, like, hey, I'm going to say, hey, the first mover advantage is often a myth as noted by the speaker. And so that might be a little bit of feedback that I leave to my learners. So multiple choice questions are available. We talked a little bit earlier about advanced interactions. And so with this, I could make these questions required. I could have them, I could adjust how my learner interacts with it. I can lock them into this and not be able to view either before or after. I could randomize the question order, which seems like a good thing right here. I can allow things like more than one attempt. So maybe I want my learners to try this 3 times before actually seeing the answer. I can hide correct answers if I want to conceal some of these questions as well and make this a true quiz. So there's a lot of advanced features that you can take advantage of as a designer or instructor or trainer. But you can also keep it simple. And if I kept it simple, I would still be able to see whether or not my learners got that answer correct or incorrect. And because I added the feedback in there, my learners would know whether or not or why they got that answer correct or incorrect. So that's a little bit about multiple choice. I also talked a little bit about that adding choice for your learners. So I'm going to take my scrub bar another time, and I'm going to go to around 15 minutes. One of the nice things here is I can also utilize non-graded responses, such as our poll interaction, to engage learners about what they think or feel. And so this is just saying, hey, do you believe the original is the best way to improve the world? And I can just have a simple poll answer right there. So if I was in a synchronous class or a live class or webinar or workshop presenting this, I'd be able to say like, oh, 50% of the room thinks this. 50% of the room thinks the other thing. You'd be able to inform your learners, build in that community, much similar to that discussion interaction. And again, this would be not graded for my learners. So it's a way to engage learners without necessarily having the weight of being correct or incorrect. Finally, we talked a little bit about adding resources. I know we put the poll or the pause interaction at the very beginning of the video, but as well, you can add in resources that also make the things that you are talking about stick and become connected to the real world. So in this specific video, they talked about the starting of Warby Parker and how that has to deal with being an original thinker. And so what I might want to do is I might want to add a web page into it about the history of Warby Parker. And so all I need to do that is put in a URL under the web embed link. This interactive or play pause it allows you to also decide where you want it. So if I want this to cover the screen and really focus my learners in, I can have that choice as well. But I'm going to click done right there. And just like that, I've added in another interaction. And this time a resource. And so you can imagine just taking a video and putting resources like websites or PDFs on top of maybe your standard video that you have right there, and the ways that your learner can engage and connect the dots between your learnings. Last thing I want to add in as well, we have a bunch of templates that PlayPosit has a bunch of templates that you can apply for your learners. So one that I always like is the learner feedback poll. And this really just allows me to track engagement. The templates are really nice because you can go in and you can edit it if you wanted to. So we have things like emojis that you can add in with the rich text editor. And so that template is really nice. It'll be a poll at the very end of my video, just asking, hey, what did they think of that interactive video? So when I have went through and I've added those different interactions, I can go to the final checks right here, which is just to review that video. And so I'm going to review this video here. I'm going to review this video right here. I'm going to think about, hey, what are some of the settings? What should it be titled? What are some of the options that I want to have, and also preview it? So let's go back to my designer right here. And so this is going to be, I made this for an innovation course that I'm running with another business. So maybe I want to title it Innovation 101. And then learning about originality is my learning objective. We talking about those admin settings earlier. We have a really robust content management system. I'm able to tag this. So this might be innovation. I can create my own tags, which helps me stay organized, helps my team stay organized. I can discuss the target audience for this. I can even put in a subject if I would like to. But again, like those tags, they are created by me. And so I can have original tags for my content. Again, we have a bunch of choices for playback options, which is really excellent. I can do things like allow, say, a printable report of all the answers that they have. So they get almost a receipt of everything that they've done to engage with that video. I always like putting that one on, but as well, you can think about ways that they are able to skip or rewind or fast forward. And so different ways and pathways in which your learners can go and engage. We also have a library. This will go into the library as we have. I'm going to click Save Changes here. If I want to preview that video, it's also really easy. So here's the quick preview. There's that pause interaction. I can check it out, what it's going to look like as a learner if I'd like to. I'm going to stay on instructor mode though, so I can show you some of the interactions that I have.
Originals are nonconformists. People who...
So here's that free response question right there.
Look at Google, waiting for years.
Go to the very end right here. Here's that poll question. and even think about that website. So here is that Warby Parker website, giving my learners context right there. I can also add interactivity at that same time to ask them questions about that specific resource. And so there's a lot of different ways in which you can set it up. Once I have that video completed in the designer, what I can also do is I can assign it to my learners. And so assigning it is really easy as well. I can either use the thumbnail or a 3-dot toggle. I'm going to use the thumbnail today. And so when I use that thumbnail, I'm going to click assign, and I can assign it to a course. And so I might assign it to this course. I can decide the date that I want to start it. I can assign the date that it might close. And then when I click assign, all I need to do is copy that link, and I can assign it and give it to my learners or my employees for them to be able to take that interactive video. Going back, the last step that we can go on this journey is to monitor results. And so again, we can use the monitor results page to see the content that my learners are taking. So let's jump back into my page. And so I can go in here to monitor this specific training. I can see what learners have taken that training and some of the dates behind it. One of the nice things about the organization is when I go in here, I can see the different scores that my learners are having. I can go and view the interactions and how they interacted within that video layer. And I can even see things like completion time and overall score from my dashboard. And so this is just one way in which you can monitor those results. But it is super essential. Like next time I know that I might want to change a little bit on the problem that a lot of my learners are missing to get 80%. And so monitoring those results is also a super critical and essential asset into interactive videos. So we've went on this journey of talking about what an interactive video is, going on a journey of what an interactive video is, what are some use cases behind it, what are some of the best practices behind interactive video today. I do want to take a little bit of time maybe to answer some questions that might be inside the chat. And so inside the chat, I'm going to just look. Yeah, and so I see one question inside the chat of just how might I make an interactive video for a company that target HMO investors. And so, if you have assets already that you use for videos, like honestly, just adding some different questions within that video might be going with the first route of adding questions to make sure they know the key points of what you are trying to teach your learners. One of the ways that you can deploy that interactive video is through public links. So you can assign public links in which learners can go and access it by just inserting their first name and last name. And so it's a really great way to make it interactive, make it easily accessible. So those are some of the thoughts that I have right there. But as well, thinking about that first and quizzing, but as well, like if you're just adding resources, you could think about going back to that linear video plus. If you have a lot of policies that you want to teach folks, like just taking that standard video and then adding the specific policies of, say, a website or a PDF file can be a really great way to add in that interactivity for that specific group of learners. I'll pause in the chat here as well if you have any questions. All right. So I do want to point out, again, you all have access to this, and we will be sending a follow-up as well, a guide to interactive video. It covers everything that we've talked about today and the step-by-steps between there. And so definitely utilize that resource when you're thinking about interactive video, why you might use it, what are the considerations behind it. But most importantly, from us at WeVideo and Play Pause It, interactive video takes a medium that your learners already love and makes it much more effective, and is a really great way to prove outcomes and returns on investment. And so if you are interested in hearing more about interactive video and how it can enhance what you're doing at your organization, talk to our team. Go to wevideo.com/contact sales. We'd love to have a conversation with you around interactive video. But most importantly, we thank you for your time today. We hope that we hear different ways that you want to put interactive video into your courses. But again, thank you for attending today. Let us know if you have any questions after our session. And have a great rest of your day.